Arsenal Football Club have made an appeal to the Premier League to cancel the North London derby this Sunday after going down to just one available midfield player. We're going to go ahead with the Bet Victor show as ever and preview that game. Will it be a Spursy day if the game goes ahead? Will they still bottle it against this depleted Arsenal side? We're also going to take a look into and delve into Man City versus Chelsea. Could this be the end of Chelsea's title race? That and also looking at some of the other Premier League fixtures this weekend. This is the Bet Victor Top 6 show. Smash that like and share button. Get your apps open and ready. Some great odds to show you tonight as well. Let's do this. Evening, everyone. Brilliant panel tonight. We've still got Alan and Daniel to join us. So we will have 6 people on. They're just both running a little bit late. But we're joined, of course, by my co-host tonight, Jess. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Of course, buoyant last night after that 0-0 victory at Anfield. We've got Daps in the house, big Man City fan, ready to go. Stands up when he's so cool. He stands up when he streams. Do you know what I mean? Doing his thing. And of course, Ty is in the house, one of the biggest up-and-coming Man United YouTubers on the planet. Boys, how you doing? Oh, I've got you both on mute. Let me unmute you both. There you go. Sorry.
I'm good. I'm good. This side of Manchester's good.
Yeah, outside's. How are you feeling? Like, obviously, we're gonna wait for Alan to hear before you can even touch on the North London derby. There's no point in talking about it till he's here. How are you feeling though, Ty, as a United fan right now? It's just we thought the pain was gone with Ollie. It seems like it's getting worse.
Yeah, it is. It's a tough time for us. I can't lie. First of all, I just want to say big up Che for having us on board as well. So thank you very much. Make sure you're supporting the Football Terrace. Yeah, there seems to be rumbles in the jungle, and there's going to be some quotes coming out later tonight. Actually, so be ready, Terry. So yeah, with Man United, I'll be honest with you. I'm a realist in terms of that. I don't expect anything to change too much with Rangnick in charge. He's got 6 months. However, what I want to see over time is performances improve massively. I need to see performances improve, and right now, Rashford's getting a lot of stick, as we can see. But no one's pulling their weight. No one's pulling their weight right now at Manchester United. I could not say to you more than 3 or 4 players that should be wearing that Manchester United shirt and that should be guaranteed to start every single week. The bottom line is we've got Harry Maguire, who has not played the last few games. However, he might be available for tomorrow. But we've got a captain at Manchester United, right, in that dressing room that's not even, dropping 7 out of 10 performances, not even showing no consistency. Now, I'm not looking for the captain of Manchester United to be the best player on the pitch. I'm not looking for him to, score plenty of goals if you're an attacker. What I want you to do is then set an example. And Harry Maguire is not setting an example at all in terms of his performances this season. He's got a way of, getting caught on the ball, dilly-dallying so many times, not getting punished. And at the end of the day, we've got Ronaldo, who's now had to come back for his second stint and have an interview to talk about the mentality of these players that are settling for 4th. You've got the youngsters now that don't even want to, take advice on board. At the end of the day, Terry, let me put it out there. We're all human here. God gave us 1 mouth and 2 eyes and 2 ears for a reason, to take in and listen to information, rightly or wrongly, and apply it to your game. Now, these guys need to effing fix up and do something tomorrow and do something in the future. And what I like about Ronaldo is that I've been a big critic of Ronaldo, Terry, in terms of I didn't want him at the football club, and I'll say it loud and clear and I'll stick by what I said. But when he comes out and does interviews like this, what it's going to do now, it's going to separate the men from the boys, because it's like being at a workplace. You're going to... Oh, see, my alarm's going off there. Heard me talk about Ronaldo. But in regards to it, at the end of the day, you're going to come into training today and it's going to separate the men from the boys. And if there's people at a workplace, for example, that don't like something that's been said, you're going to get wheedled out. There's going to be things that are going to be said. These players need to step up, including someone like Mason Greenwood, who you might be aiming it at. At the end of the day, we're Manchester United Football Club. Be proud to wear the shirt, put performances on the pitch, less interviews, more talking. So I'm not happy at the moment because I feel like it's going to get worse before it gets better. It's a bit like having the flu. And you've got to go through the cycle of it's going to get worse and then it comes back down. And at the end of the day, we're not pulling our weight, and we'll get to the game. But I'm worried about tomorrow. But the fact that Ronaldo has to come out for him to do an interview, and now everyone's like sort of, jumping on the Ronaldo bandwagon. At the end of the day, with Ronaldo, there's leadership, and there's two types of leadership. He said the right things. Now we've got to go into work the next day and pull everyone in that same direction. Otherwise, it's going to be more of a divide. So I don't know.
Mate, I hear you completely. Like it's one of the games we're featuring on the show tonight. I'm just looking at the odds here, and they have Man United as they actually have Villa as favourites to win the game.
Not
so
surprising.
Aston Villa are favourites to beat Manchester United tomorrow. I'll put them up on the screen here so the viewers can see. You look at this here, 19-10 for Aston Villa to win the game, which is just shy of 2-1, where Manchester United, it's almost the same. We're 29-20, so you divide that down. They're marginal favourites against Manchester United. Only marginal, but they are still favourites for this match. And I can't remember the last time Man United were away from home against a team other than Man City, Chelsea, or Liverpool, where we weren't evens or we weren't the favourites for the football match. And it's right, though. Bet Victor are absolutely right to have Manchester United as the outsiders for this game, because we have been absolutely rank in every single which way possible. We really, really have. Daniel joins us now on the show as well. We've been absolutely rank. Like, Daps, I want to get your opinion on this. You haven't been on the show for a minute. When you look at Man United, is this the case of them just needing training sessions? This is the second game now in the space of 2 weeks where we've had a full week of training ahead of it. Should we now start to see, with all what Ronaldo said, all the scandals being leaked, and 2 weeks of solid training, we should be seeing a response by now, surely?
Maybe.
Was he muted?
Sorry. A response is, and you might see people maybe putting in a bit more of a shift. But if you're going to expect to see a big change, look, everyone says that Ralph scored Tuchel, Klopp, whatever. Remember Klopp's first maybe season and a half? It was all about getting the players' fitness up to a level where they can press and play the type of football. So anyone expecting that Man United are going to be able to play the way Ralph wants them to in a couple of weeks or even a couple of months, nah. But I think that ultimately the mentality of a lot of players needs to change. A lot of players. That's the key. I don't know if Ronaldo's done this for personal reasons or for the club.
Ooh.
Because it could be for the club, but also a great narrative would be that, you know, people are beginning to turn on Ronaldo, and what a way to get all the United fans behind him to come out saying that he's trying to, you know, pull everyone together. And, you know, I don't know. I think Ronaldo.
I hear that. Look, I hear the ideology, Daps, actually.
I'm a big Ronaldo fan. Don't get me wrong. I love his work ethic. That is something that for me maybe might put him above Messi, because I love people that have just earned it by working hard. But he definitely is about himself, and him and his team might think, you know what, let's get people behind us by coming out and, you know, trying to pull everyone together. Or it could be for the right reason, but.
I mean, look, there's all these I mean, Rashford's getting a lot of criticism for coming out and answering. The maddest thing is for Rashford, I don't disbelieve him. I don't think anything that's been said about Rashford's a lot. I don't think he's making up that he does all these hours in training. I think that he does. Slightly contradictory, because obviously Ronaldo has said that he's shocked that no one's in the gym doing extra work. Interesting thing about when I lived in Manchester, Ronaldo was at the club. The gym, one of the gyms that we did a lot of our fitness and conditioning work in for Team GB, a number of Man United, Man City, and Bury players used to train there. It was like kind of a gym where athletes and people got to go. Ronaldo was in there religiously. Not straight away, by the way. It was after being at the club about a year, 18 months. He then started committing to doing extra work, extra training. And so he's always kind of been like that, if that makes it, just my memory. And I think that's what it comes down to. It's the extra work and the extra miles. And the one thing that stands out with these United players is a lack of effort. Is the reason there's a lack of effort because they literally don't have the fitness to put the effort in. And that can be it sometimes. Like some lazy people, what makes them lazier is they've got no fitness to not be lazy. Do you get what I mean? It's hard to motivate yourself when you know you haven't got the energy to do it. I think it's a domino effect of a number of things, really. I don't think it's one thing. It isn't one there isn't one smoking gun as to why Man United are so poor.
Do you know Company actually on 5, when Company was interviewed by Rio, he actually said that City, ever since Fergie's left, City love playing Man United because he knows that ultimately in the middle of the pitch, you're not athletic enough, you're not fit enough, and we're just going to overrun you. And he said that. He said it's just they're They haven't got the energy that we've
Mm.
got.
I hear you on that. Jess, what are you thinking about this game for Man United? I mean, they were lucky to get the win. We were lucky to get the win on Monday night. Villa are playing nice, fast, aggressive football. They're going to be at home this time round. Where's your head at with this game?
I think they're going to want revenge for, the game that you guys played the other day. I think that they'll be fired up for it. They obviously will have Digne available as well as Coutinho. The PR is already coming out that him and Buendia are cooking. And so I think they're going to be ready to take the points. And so we all kind of know that Manchester United is not playing well at the moment. There seems to be fractures in the ranks, lack of confidence. Ralph doesn't really know what team to play, what's the style, what are they up to, but Steven Gerrard seems to already know what he wants to do with his team, and I just envision them coming out to make things right because they had so many opportunities against you guys. Was it the FA Cup that you guys played in? Yeah, the FA Cup. They had so many chances and they really probably should have knocked you guys out. And I envision them taking the 3 points, to be honest. I know you guys have had time on the training pitch, but I think it's more than that. Like, and with the Ronaldo thing, with him coming out doing the interview, I kind of hear what Daps is saying. It's kind of, I don't really want the shine on me. I don't really agree with the mindset of these players. And I'm projecting here, but I kind of feel like there might be a group of players that don't really like Ronaldo and what he's trying to bring to the club. So it seems like I'm trying to make sure y'all don't think it's me, and those types of things and those types of interviews don't necessarily go well when you get back to the dressing room with the guys that are pretty much like, so you throwing us under the bus, so I can see why Aston Villa are marginal favorites. I'm actually kind of excited to see what they look like with their new players, because I think Steven Gerrard's trying to build something like interesting going on over there at Villa. So yeah, I think Villa will win it, but I don't think, if Villa came out with all 3 points, I don't think any of us here would be shocked, and I think that that's kind of where Man United are right now, that you can pretty much think any team can get something out of them. And that's unfortunate for them.
Is Coutinho ready to play? Do you know?
They're both
Probably not fit
available,
enough.
Digne
They're both
and
available.
Coutinho. Well, they said that they're available for selection.
I don't know
So
if Coutinho's fitness will be there yet, but
Yeah, but do you know what? Coutinho coming off the bench,
Yeah,
20 minutes
yeah,
to
yeah.
go.
I can see it, Terry. I can see
He's
it.
got that ability. Do you know what, though? I want to pull on something you said there, Jess. I remember I got moved to a new branch at Barclays because they weren't performing in sales. And I turned up as a number 2. I weren't number 1. It was a guy who was beating me. Number 2 in London in terms of the league tables. And I remember going in, 22 years old, the pinstripe suit on. I was ready. I was like, right, I'm gonna bring you. I remember my attitude, and it was, I'm gonna bring you out the mire. I never said that to anyone. It was my attitude. They didn't like me. Any reason to throw me under the bus, that team. And it was sort of like, I remember I did well there for a bit, and then I got moved back to my proper branch when they brought in some managers and whatever. Years later, I become a branch manager, and some of that team were then in this team, and got to know them better and asked them what the issue was. And they said, "Oh, do you know why we were rude and nasty to you?" And I went, "Why?" They were like, "Because if your methods were successful in a branch," because their excuses were, "You can't make sales in this area of London. Nobody wants to buy anything. Nobody's got any money, bad credit, whatever." They said, if you came in and delivered, which I did, it blew our excuses out the water.
Yeah.
Therefore, we were going to all get in trouble.
Yeah.
And this is what's happening with Ronaldo right now, I think. Ronaldo's coming in and trying to raise the standards. And it's almost, if Ronaldo's proven to be right, we can't get out of it. Do you get what I mean? We've got no way back. And I do think there's a bit of self-preservation in there. And I understand that from a certain point of view, because there's a lot of rumors going around about Rashford and Ronaldo and Bruno. I don't think they're the players who are not listening to the manager. I don't think they're the ones who are not trying. They look upset because the team is failing. But look, it's either way round. Either way round, for me, it's an absolute mess right now. And I can't see a victory for Man United. Like, I can't see it at all. Like, I'm not even trying to play it down to go, oh my God, I'm surprised we won. Legitimately, on my life, I am so scared about tomorrow night's game, because I go live straight after, and honestly, I think we're going to get beat, and I think we're going to get beat badly.
I think you're right. They came out of Villa although they came out with an L, they actually came out with the bounce, not you lot.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, and that's mad. And again, also people talk about new manager bounce. There's no new manager bounce as well with Ragnick. I do get what you lot are saying. There's nothing you can actually look at that thinks, what are we going to be positive about on this? And I do agree with you. I don't think it's Bruno. I don't think there's a chance in hell that Bruno's the type of player that doesn't listen to a manager, by the way.
Do you know what? Yeah, but it's interesting though, because like I remember, and again, it's not to vindicate anyone and say anyone's been vindicated by what's happening. Like you mentioned, I agree. It's not just one issue at United. No one can say this sole thing, unless maybe if you want to say the board, because the board kind of control everything. But there isn't just one fact that's ruining, stopping United from playing, because we've seen teams still perform well despite boards being awful. So even then, it's not just the board. However, when Mourinho was in charge, one of the biggest things that was said, even when he tried to expose things and say that the board was an issue, he wasn't getting what he wanted, players weren't doing what they wanted. One of the things that was said was that he's old-fashioned. He doesn't know how to adapt to the times. He doesn't. He's not doing it in a way where the players are responding to what he's saying. There's no difference between what Mourinho was saying at the time and what Ronaldo is saying right now. The only difference is the players are a little bit older. And I'm not saying there are specific players, because at the end of the day, we don't know specifically who they are and whatnot. But you have to remember that a lot of players that were in that Mourinho regime are still there right now, bar a couple of additions.
And
So,
go on. Sorry.
My overarching point basically is that Ronaldo coming out and saying this I personally don't think isn't going to have the galvanizing effect it might have had if Roy Keane had come out a couple of years ago and said Man United need to pull their socks up and play better. So for me, when I look at Man United, it's whether they've got, and it's so funny because everyone gets onto this thing about passion and desire and hard work and the fundamentals, basically the things that it goes without saying. Bro, you'd rather have 11 players that aren't technically good but want to be there and want to play and want to try and win than 11 players who are the most talented in the world but don't really want to be there, don't really enjoy their football, aren't really enjoying what they look at. Everyone who's playing well, everyone who plays well, I don't care what team you are, your team functions well and plays well, regardless of the players you have, when you want to be there, when you want to play for the manager that you have currently, you will succeed to a degree. Of course, tactics and da-di-da-di-da could come in to help you win trophies and whatnot, but success comes first of all from wanting to be there. Just let's even dumb it down. Let's forget talking football. If we're talking about our jobs, our day-to-day, our 9-to-5s, you might not be one of the best at your job, but if you put in the hours and put in the shift and put in the work and people see that you want to be there, bro, when it comes to making people redundant, because of your hard work and because of your desire to be there, you won't be one of those people. So I just look at it like, do the United players really want to be there? And we can only go off body language.
Do you know what? Can I just
agree with you? Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. Ty, one thing you'll know, because I always pipe on about this. The one thing that I think City get right, generally, Grealish might be an exception, don't know yet, is I feel when Pep does his hiring, it's massively, massively, massively based on mentality.
Yep, 100%.
That it's like whereas if you look at Man United, it was like Sanchez is a perfect example. We were supposed to be buying Sanchez. Sanchez apparently was wanting to come because he wanted to win titles, win trophies, right? He'd spoke with Pep. The minute that Man United turned his head with extra money, Pep said to the board, I don't want him because he's been telling me he's coming in to win trophies. And I think that's...
Do you know what's crazy about it though as well? That this is partly on the fans, because this is the Mourinho thing again. Fans are so one-dimensional, and I call it key stage one football analysis. They look at one issue and I don't like Jose's style of football. Therefore, everything Jose says and does is wrong. Yeah, and the only thing that Jose did that I wanted him sacked for was when he started to mistreat the players publicly. The things he said about Luke Shaw, the things when Martial's child was being born, the way he spoke, I got that he was frustrated, but the way he did it, and it wasn't you've got to sack him because he's an absolute cow son. It was you've got to sack him because clearly the relationship is broken down.
Yeah,
the problems that Mourinho had, I spoke at large about we should be focusing on those problems and realizing that we need to back the position of manager. And all I got told, Jose Mourinho simp, Jose Mourinho sympathizer, back the club. This squad's good enough to win. I did the same thing with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Yes, he made mistakes. He enabled them and allowed players to remain to be overtly in control. We're now seeing the problems there. But the club are the overriding issue. Jose didn't want Fred. Jose didn't want Alexis Sanchez. Jose wanted to get rid of Pogba. He wanted to get rid of Martial. The irony in it is the same people moaning now. See, look, you've got the Rashford's not working hard enough and Greenwood's lazy. My favourite baller's not getting played. But your favourite, this is why the player debate thing for me is so infuriating, because the irony in it is it was the board backing Pogba and Martial that were one of the beginning problems around player power at the club. I love those two players and I wanted them to stay. But the manager of the club or the director of football now, as it's going to be, whichever one that's told they've got total control, has to be allowed to make them decisions, irrespective of what the fans say, the board says, or the player's commercial value to the team. And this is where Man United have got to fix that issue. Because once you start making those decisions and nobody's untouchable, as it was under Fergie. And that's the bit that always makes me spit. People go, oh, you always mention the Fergie. You can't go back to the Fergie era. Man City run their club like the Fergie era, where there is a person in control that's more powerful than the players. Liverpool have people in control that are more powerful than the players. And until that comes in, that's why I'm not angry at the players. The players are just yielding power the club's given them. That's on the club. The club's my focus because they're enabling this shit every day. Every day.
An example of that is, obviously, we wanted Pep for so long. When one of the first things Pep did when he joined City was call out Joe Hart, as in, I want rid of Joe Hart. By any means, we're getting rid of Joe Hart. We need a ball playing.
Yeah. Claudio Bravo came in.
Well, you check. Yeah, that wasn't so good. But if you check the last game under Joe Hart's last game, the whole crowd were singing Joe Hart's name, saying they didn't want him to go. But the fact was, we couldn't have a say because. And now when we look at it, well, with that, I think Edison might be Pep's best signing for the way we play football. So ultimately, Pep had to get what he wanted. It doesn't matter what we wanted as fans because we want Pep as our manager. We want to win trophies. Therefore, listen to what the manager wants. Don't listen to what the fan wants ever.
Yeah. Do you know what? I mean, just quickly touched on what Dan said as well. Is because obviously with Mourinho and the message, Ronaldo and the message, I feel like with Ronaldo, if he didn't say the message wouldn't be coming out. But I do agree with Dan that it might not be the be all and end all because as I said, Dan, just before you came on, I said the right message from Ronaldo has been done. But now he's got to get the players pulling in the same direction. There's two different sides of leadership. They're saying the right message, then getting everyone to come on board with your message.
Yes.
And I think I'm at the point, Terry, now that like with Manchester United, me and you as Manchester United fans, we want to win games. We want to see us get results. But on the flip side of it, I'm actually at the point now where I don't think I've seen Manchester United play well in terms of performances for a long, long time. Leeds, we always play well against. Why? Because they suit our style. Spurs, we always play well against Spurs because they're not able to press us and we're allowed to sort of dominate the ball when we don't really do that in any games. I'm at the point now where I want to see better performances. I can take us losing games. Look at Man City when Pep first come in. I think they finished third or fourth. But you could see the vision of what Pep was trying to do. Jurgen Klopp, a different type of analogy, but he came in and you could see that Liverpool had a lot of, I think, muscular injuries in the first 18 months. They couldn't deal with the intensity. However, you could still see what Jurgen Klopp was trying to do.
Yeah.
If I can see what Manchester United are trying to do, then brilliant. And my example is this. Brighton, Graham Potter. If I said to you 3 weeks ago, you guys, that Brighton hadn't won a game since September, you would have been shocked in terms of the way they play. But they play brilliant football. They create a lot of chances. And people are happy with the way Brighton are. And people are saying, oh, I would take Graham Potter as my coach in top 5, top 6 clubs. So when performances are good, it doesn't matter because you can see where the club and the direction is heading. At Manchester United, we're not even getting performances. I need some of that.
Totally agree. We're going to take a look here at the odds we're going to take score predictions for this game. So viewers, get your BetVictor apps open or click on the links in the description below. You'll see the Man United Aston Villa odds are about the third line down. We're going to put them up on the screen here so the team can see. What are you saying, Jess? What's your score prediction for this game?
I'm seeing like a 2-1 Villa victory.
It's a decent punt. What are you saying, Daps?
2-0 Villa.
2-0 Villa.
Can't see United scoring.
That's good odds. That's 17-1. How about yourself, Ty?
I'm going to go 1-1.
Not bad bet. Daniel?
I think Villa will win still. I think Villa will win. I'd probably go 2-0. 2-1.
2-1 as well. And how about yourself, Al? What you saying, brother?
1-0 Villa.
1-0. Viewers, remember, if you super chat in your score predictions, I will match that bet. One thing I haven't done yet, though, I need to just move this off because I haven't logged into my account yet, which means can't do that because it will show my password and stuff. And
You never do it. You never sign in ahead of time. Why are you not prepared?
Sorry, boss.
We're working here.
Sorry, boss. I apologize. I'm going to go with the 2-1 because a few people picked that there at 20. It's 22 to 21 to 2 is that option there. But I also like that 2-0, you know. I'm going to throw a few quid at the 2-0 as well. I think Villa are going to win. My prediction is, though, I'm going to go with something massive. I'm going with 4-1. 4-1 is my
4-1 Villa.
Yeah,
Wow.
and I
can't see that.
I'll tell you as to why. Man, the way out, sometimes it's about sustainable performances. And I remember back in, I don't know what year it was, when Man United got beat 6-1 by Man City, Daps. In the build-up to that, it was only a week or two prior that we'd slapped Arsenal 8-2. We scored, there was another, the week after that, I think we beat Bolton. I don't remember how many goals we scored, but I know Rooney got a hat-trick in it because he had a hat-trick 2 games running. And I remember speaking to United fans at one of the games, as I was a season ticket holder then, and they said, "Oh, like we'll do well today against City." And I said, "I'm worried about a bit of a beating coming soon." They were like, "Why?" So we're scoring all these goals, but we were leaking like a broken fridge. We were leaking too many opportunities, and I feel like we're leaking too many opportunities to Norwich and Newcastle. Aston Villa are playing excellent football. They're going to be at home. They're going to be buoyant. We have no confidence. If they score a couple of early goals, which is possible, I just feel like they're gonna. I really just feel like they're gonna do something. So that's my bet that I'm putting on here. Viewers, you've all got your own views. You've got your own opinions. I'm gonna go to my betting slip here, and I'm gonna put some money on each of these. So 2-1, which is the main bet we're doing here. I'm gonna put a little £2.50 on there. The 2-0, which I think was who was a 2-0 guess?
That was me. That was me. Yeah.
I'm going to stick a little £1.50 on there. Just small bets. Here's what we do. And on my one, I'm going to stick a little pound. It's 90 to 1, but I'm going to put that in there because I do just have a little bit of a feeling that that's what could happen. Then bets are being placed right now with Bet Victor. That is done. We are going to save the North London sort of preview. I don't know if we're going to preview it now, because we do need to bring this breaking news. That Arsenal Football Club have tweeted that they have officially put in their request to have this game postponed. We're going to get onto that later in the show, so stay with us. But up next, we're talking Man City versus Chelsea. Could this be the end of Chelsea's title race? Danny boy. Big game for Chelsea. Big game for Chelsea. Title race could be over. How are you feeling about it?
I mean, yeah, it's facing Man City, facing the best team in the league right now. You're facing a team that knows how to maneuver or how to get the job done when it comes to a league title. I've repeatedly said that we could win the league this year, and then obviously we had that December period where there was a lot of draws, and then there was one loss, and then it kind of just derailed us a bit, and then it made me realize that we just needed a year to experience the race. Just like how I said Man City needed one Champions League final to experience it, lose fast, and then come back stronger. We needed this with this crop of players. We needed an experience, and I still think we've been there or thereabouts. We've held our own. I mean, we've only in the last 21, we've only lost one game, which was to West Ham, and I know there have been draws in it, but let's not move like we've drawn every single game like some of the unbeaten runs that we've seen. So I just think that going into this game, yes, we have a lot of players out. Yes, we're not going to have our strongest lineup. However, we've still got things over there, and I do think I genuinely believe we can win. I genuinely, because we figured out a way to play now without the strongest lineup, and that was one of the things that Tuchel needed to do, especially with the players that were out. We've seen the hybrid now of the back five and then also the back four, which works well in game, where we're defending with a back three, but we're attacking with a back four. So we've seen instances of him like changing, rejigging, especially with the players. We've seen Malang Sarr come in now for a number of games, and he's actually looked good. Like he's looked like a good option to have. So yeah, man. I mean, it's not like, yeah, we're gonna beat Man City. You can never go in and say that. But I do think we have a great chance, especially considering that we've seen a blueprint. I think if we adapt Arsenal's blueprint, and I think we've got the better players to do what they did and win the game. Like, thank you for the blueprint, Jess. But we're gonna use it now and try and execute it.
I hear you on. I do hear you on that. I mean, it's an interesting. I'm really excited about this game tomorrow. To be fair, Daps, how are you feeling about it? Because you win this, and look, we saw.
Can soon come.
Look, bro. You win this, and we saw Liverpool without Mo Salah. They look impotent. You win tomorrow, and you're basically champions. You're basically champions with the win tomorrow, aren't you?
Facts.
Prem soon come. About the blueprint, you might have seen the blueprint, but the actual blueprint was get us to play 36 hours before in London, then have to travel up to Manchester, then travel back down. We've had a week off, mate. The blueprint's not going to work. Look, for me, I'm right. Last time I think I was on Bet Victor was before the Chelsea game, and Chelsea were, I don't think they'd lost a game. They were top. Liverpool also, and I said I can't see where Chelsea will drop points. However, if we beat them tomorrow, then all of a sudden the momentum changes completely. We go on a run, Chelsea don't, and that's what's happened. So what I'm trying to say, look, if Chelsea win tomorrow, we're still 7 points clear, but then the momentum maybe falls away from us a little bit. We get the 3 points, and I don't believe we're going to be stopped this season. And I've predicted 3-1. I know we're not doing predictions yet. I predict 3-1 City tomorrow.
Yeah, well, go on, mate. Go on.
To respond to that very quickly, I even agree. Like I even think even if we win that game, overturning City is just going to be way too tough because it's not in your hands. Like you need City to lose about 2 more times or draw like 4 times. And it's just not really realistic, especially you're looking at all these postponements and whatnot, and City you kind of have a flow of games and whatnot. Like, honestly, my mind is elsewhere. Look, we've got the League Cup final, which I think we should go out and win, regardless of who comes out in the semi-final. I think we can win that definitely. I think we can win the FA Cup. I mean, you beat Plymouth now in the next round, and you get another nice favourable draw. You're already in the quarters/semis, so I think that is a very winnable trophy. I don't believe we'll go back-to-back with the Champions League. However, you're still in that competition and you go as far as possible, especially considering I don't think there's like when Barcelona and Bayern Munich were dominant, I don't think there's an outstanding favourite. Bayern Munich, yes, might be the favourites. Man City, yes, might be the favourites, but I don't think they're out of reach. No. So my mind's elsewhere. But when I look at City, the reason why I'm saying not necessarily a blueprint. I'm not saying, we apply that and we're definitely going to beat you or anything like that. No. What I'm saying is I've seen my team beat you twice. Was it 3 times? 3 times in a row. And we kind of did similar things where, yes, the approach was different from Man City in all 3 games. However, our approach never really changed. We pressed when we needed to press. Yes, we might not have the players that we might do, but I think you remember at the Etihad, we also didn't have our strongest team.
No, you didn't. Look,
Hudson-Odoi started. It's similar players. I think it's possible. You predicting 3-1 though is not far-fetched. It's not far-fetched.
No, I hear that, Jess. I mean, can you? This feels again like, and I'm not having a pop at Daps here or anybody. It sort of feels again to me like another one of those. What's the word I'm looking for? Everybody's going City win, almost with no care to Chelsea, as if, and I'm not City are the best team in England right now, so of course they're favourites, but it just feels too easy. I don't know if that's the right word for it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's a little, I mean, I get Daps has every right to be like super confident because City are like amazing, so it's not like, I feel like he should have that confidence, but I think Chelsea have gotten over that little blip that they had like a couple of weeks ago, and they're looking back to some form of the team that we saw, that was really firing on all cylinders and stuff. And of course, their firing on all cylinders is a little bit different because their attacking players are not the best, but Tuchel seems to be able to have some sort of efficiency with his team. And I could easily see it becoming like a 1-0 to Chelsea or, something like that, because I know that rest is kind of like something that people use to be like, okay, well, we're more rested. But actually, I think sometimes it works to your detriment because you seem to be a little bit more rusty. Even having 5-6 games off, or say 5-6 days off, can actually work backwards, working the other way. And Chelsea are fresh off of a really like resounding win against Spurs, like not resounding, but you know what I mean? Like they kind of just knocked them out. It was really easy, So I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. Chelsea have a very good defense. And if Tuchel plays it right, I think he can get City into a place where they're a little bit, maybe not as confident. I think Chelsea are really good. So I'm hoping that it's a dogfight, because the last thing you really want is for one of the bigger games of the weekend to be just business as usual. You kind of want to see Chelsea really go at it. And let's be real, like for Chelsea's season, they also need to be closer to Man City than they are to the people fighting for top 4 for it to seem like they are really making progress if they're not winning the title. So this game needs to mean something. I think it's going to be a lot closer than people think. I can see Chelsea winning the game, but it will be difficult. And yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I hear you. What are you saying, Ty, about this? Can you see a bit of could Chelsea pull off a shock? I mean, I'm looking at the league table now. If they win, they go on to 46 points. They're still then 7 points behind, but it will give them hope. Or where are you at with this? What do you think? How do you think it's going to go?
I'm going to flip it around. Obviously, you can see my lights are in blue. And I'm going to make a little bit of a case for Chelsea. I'll be honest with you. If you look at the blueprint, like Dan said, they've played City a few times and beaten them. And by the way, I'm going to give City a lot of credit. City are a very good team. But the case for Chelsea, for me, is that when they lost to Man City at home at Stamford Bridge, stylistically, Dan will probably be able to remember this, but they changed to a 3-5-2 and went with Lukaku and Werner up front. Yeah. And for me, that was the difference, because when you allow Diaz and Laporte to then just say, right, I'm going to match you 1v1, and then Cancelo and Zinchenko, whoever it is, can bomb forward, that changes the whole dynamic straight away. Chelsea, for me, the first thing they need to do, go back to a 3-4-3. And if you do that, you're allowed to then maybe occupy a few spaces in the half pockets. But I want to see this tomorrow from Chelsea. And Tuchel, I think, will make this decision. You play Kovacic and Conte together in midfield. You've got energy, you've got press, you've got legs as well. The bottom line is, no matter what the team plays City are going to have the ball. So you don't need Jorginho in there, because Jorginho's there to control, a bit like a Michael Carrick type of player. He's there to have the ball. I don't feel like you need Jorginho tomorrow, because City are likely to have the ball. Have players that can progress it, can beat the press. I feel like Kovacic is a great ball carrier. Kante can also do the same. People label him a defensive midfielder. I think he can get up and down the pitch. So I feel like if Chelsea played a 3-4-3 and played Kovacic and Kante in there, they defend solidly. They will get chances on the break. And let's see what happens. So, yes, City are favourites. I completely understand it. City have got quality. City could beat them 2-0. And it could be, like Dap said, an easy game. But I also feel like with Chelsea, do not be surprised if they put in good performances. Because like boxing, styles make fights. And I think Chelsea have got a chance.
Just to add to that as well, like, I think that's as well what adds into the idea of, for me personally, look, it might be a bit of recency bias, but I just think Tuchel is probably one of my favourite managers, even probably Chelsea managers, just because of the fact that, like, yes, we can't predict the future and we don't know what he's going to become in the future, but as of right now, he's a manager that takes accountability, takes responsibility for certain things. In the recent press conference, he literally just said, like, last game we played a 3-2. So we're not going to do well. It looks clear that we're not going to do that again and try and change things. And
what do you think on what I said, Dan, as well, then adapting it, going back to what?
Yeah, no, literally exactly what you said. And I just think that he's probably going to go into the game trying to play the strongest available squad. And let's see what we can do. I mean, yes, some people might come out and still say excuses like, we only lost because we didn't have our strongest players available. But I mean, at the end of the day, we can only go out with what we have. We have a strong team. I mean, this team was a team that beat Tottenham home and away. And as much as people want to say maybe Tottenham aren't good and whatnot, we couldn't take that for granted, and we were able to get the job done in that respect. So, yeah, as long as Tuchel keeps doing what he's doing, no one's going to have any complaints.
I totally agree. I just want to. There's a comment I've got to go to here. It says, Terry, the fan team says it costs £10. How do you again? So you have to register. Once you register, it is weird. We fed that back into them. As soon as you register, this little thing will happen on the screen. It flips around and then it says free. So you have to register and then it's free. So get that done, Fred, and you can enter your team. We've got the other super chats. We'll come back to them later. We've starred them. Alan, what are you saying about this game? How are you feeling about this? I mean, you've got no dog in the fight, as it were, but can you see a shock result, Chelsea getting the win, or do you just think Man City are going to be too good on the day, morning, afternoon, day?
Which one? No, afternoon. Yeah, so I think it's going to be a very close game. I have to give Man City credit because last season, most people told them that they were done early on in the season because of false nine. People have worked him out. Same again this season. The last time they lost was when I came to the studio for the Man United game. They lost to Palace, and since then they haven't lost since. You know, so they've gone on a good run. Chelsea have had their blip. I think they're getting back to what they are. I don't agree necessarily with Daniel because Spurs are a team that do not press. Man City are a team that press and press high, and they will smother Chelsea. Chelsea tend to play defensive players and then play balls over the top to Lukaku and Werner. That's how they played against Tottenham both games. And we didn't have a midfield, so they were easy to go through us. You're not going to have that same thing with City. I believe it's just going to be a very tough, close game. I see Man City having too much for you to be able to keep them out, but I also think you'll get a goal on the counter-attack, placing balls over the top for Lukaku, so I just see it having a draw written all over it this game.
I don't think Lukaku starts. I think they should go with Havertz for more fluidity, to be honest.
Lukaku will start. Lukaku will.
After the meeting, I think he might do. I was going to say the thing with City as well that's quite interesting. Watching Pep's press conference earlier, he hasn't told us who the current COVID cases are. So at the moment, we actually don't know who's going to be playing for City, and that's the other thing that's quite key as well.
The reason why I don't think Lukaku or even Hudson-Odoi will start is just because they played the full game against Tottenham. Even when I thought they'd come off for rest and that. He left them both on. I don't know, maybe he wanted them to get a goal or something, but I think that is a kind of indicative because Havertz has now been available for a minute now, and he didn't even come on, he didn't even warm up in that game. So it might tell you that he might want to play Havertz and possibly Ziyech and Mount. So I think that could be the front three, especially because Ziyech as well has had two good performances against City, the FA Cup semi-final. Yeah, and so is Mount. So the FA Cup semi-final and the Etihad game, and so is Mount as well, played well in both games. So I think that's what we could potentially do with Alonso playing, Azpilicueta playing, Kovacic, Kante. I won't be surprised if Jorginho does play because Jorginho still provides what you don't see with Jorginho, or he doesn't get enough credit for, is being positionally in the right place to intercept passes and whatnot. But again, like you said, the legs thing, I can totally understand that.
He's also a pressing trigger. He's one of those where City will look at him and then they do that thing where they swarm around the player that they feel like is going to dawdle on the ball. So I kind of agree, Jorginho probably needs to sit this one out, and whoever you have that can run into the channels and behind the fullbacks. The one thing that I think about City, and this doesn't mean that I don't think that they're great players, but I don't think if you can get them running back towards their goal, they don't like it.
Yes, 100%.
They don't like it. So Havertz and because I don't think Havertz is really fast, but he is somebody that you can run into space. Just get those players running in especially at the fullbacks. If you don't see Kyle Walker, you're good to go.
Walker will be starting.
That's why I definitely think Kovacic and Kante, their best ability as well is being able to beat players in that 6 to 10 yards and doing that when you run at City. It's kind of with
Kovacic is key.
The pitch. Yeah, Kovacic is brilliant. The pitch opens up.
He's playing well too right
and
now.
Mason Mount. I think like Jess said, getting them
running
the other way.
For me, remember Kovacic got injured. I think Chelsea's form dipped when he got injured for me. I think he's been their best player this season. He's so underrated, man. So underrated. I think fullbacks is where the game is going to be key because obviously I think Walker hasn't played much. He played against Swindon last week. I think Walker will be back in. He's key. for that exact reason.
Yep.
And it'll be Cancelo on the left. The one thing I would say is the Champions League, Reece James and Chilwell were sensational. So I'm quite happy that they're not playing. But
Terry, I do have a question though for you though. Like, and this is totally unrelated. So, and you know me, I like doing those questions. I did it to Ram and Tom, and that got them a bit going. So I got one for you though. In terms of the Premier League careers and like their Premier League tenures and how good they have been and the world class thing and their effectiveness and whatnot. When you look at Kovacic and when you look at Pogba, who do you think's had better Premier League career?
Again, it's a very well worded question. Premier League career, as in everything they've achieved at their respective clubs, you have to go Kovacic because he's won a Champions League. Better player is still a very different conversation. It's why, as I say, so it's like when you say who's had the best Premier League career ever, it's Ryan Giggs. That's why he is the Premier League GOAT. He's had so based on that logic. If you say who the best technical player is, it's a different answer. Who the best clutch player is, different answer. And that's why when you put it all together, you kind of come to that sort of like, everyone's got a different view. But yeah, Kovacic has had a better career in the Prem because he won a Champions League and what else has he won? I swear he's won something else.
Yeah, he's won the Europa League.
And the champion. Listen, he's won Pogba has won a Europa League and a League Cup. The Champions League is bigger than both of them put together. So he's had a better career. Again, it's how you word those questions for me. Who do I think the better player of the two is? I'm still saying I think Pogba's the better player, but career-wise, it is what it is because I can't hypocrisize myself because if someone said who's had a better career in the Prem on real Ryan Giggs did. He won 13 league titles and 2 Champions Leagues. A better career.
If we tweak it, then who's had better performances in their Premier League career?
Ooh, better performances, more consistent, better performances, Kovacic. But who's been in a more consistent and better run club? Kovacic. So, but you give it to Kovacic. So he's won it, but I would say that's the reason as to why. And that, by the way, that keeps me completely consistent with my opinion as to why Man United have fallen away. So I'm not suddenly moving goalposts. Like Kovacic has done well, but it's, Man United have had, like Darren Fletcher had a more consistent career than lots of other midfielders that are better than him because he was part of a team and a club that was so consistent. It doesn't make him better. And I think that, I'm not, by the way, Kovacic is better than Darren Fletcher as a football player overall, but it's, it's how you get into those weird debates. Luke Chadwick's better than Gerrard because he won a Prem. I wouldn't go that far. Like, that's a madness. But yeah, interesting question. Viewers, make sure you're hitting the like and I've really triggered a lot of Arsenal fans online. They
not like you, Terry.
That's why exactly, Terry. That's why you saved the best till last, man.
But when you like people watch your stuff and then they don't get your humor. It's like I tweeted Arsenal saying the irony with laughing emojis. Why are you being like that? It's just a joke. How do I know it's a joke? Well, there's laughing emojis, and then I put another one saying play the kids with laughing emojis, and it's like people like quote tweeting me into like threads they've put out as to why Arsenal have got to be given the same respect as all the other clubs, and I'm like, we'll get onto that in a minute, but there is irony in this from any fan who's now not screaming at his own club saying, play the kids. I love it, but we'll get onto that in a little bit. And we'll do your super chats as well, but score predictions first. Score predictions for tomorrow. Jessica, what is your score prediction for this game?
I'm actually going to go with 1-1, a draw. I think it's going to be way closer than some people think. Chelsea's going to show up. 1-1.
1-1. That's what you said. You said 3-1 already. If you know your
3-1 City. Yeah.
Ty?
I'm gonna go 2-1 City. Yeah, it's gonna be tight. Chelsea would do what I said, but I just think the quality might show. Yeah.
Ty, can I just ask you a really quick question? Because usually when we play Chelsea, you want us to smash them. I sense like today you're not as keen on that.
Do you know what? I think the way Terry will probably agree. The way Manchester United have got us feeling right now, my interests are elsewhere. I just want to see a good game of football. I enjoyed watching, for example, I actually enjoyed watching Chelsea Liverpool a couple of weeks ago. I hate Liverpool, but I just enjoyed watching the game. Yeah,
Chelsea were good. One of the best games of the season. So
exactly,
far.
Jess. I'm gonna say that point now. Where I want to see good teams play.
And Chelsea, that was such a bizarre game because like the first 25 minutes, Chelsea didn't really look up to it, but then after that, Chelsea looked really good. Looked really, really good. Anyway, sorry, Terry, back to your prediction.
Yeah, great question.
Dan, what are you going with, mate?
I think we'll win. I hope we will win. I hope
wait.
we will win.
Hmm.
I think we'll win.
Hey.
No, I just hope so, innit? Like, I have to be a bit like confident. I'd have to support my club a bit. I think we're in a good run right now as well. Man City are too, to be fair, but yeah, let's just
Not
make
bad.
I
the
think the
race.
only way you win. I think the only way you win, Dan, is by keeping a clean sheet. I think if both teams score, I don't know if you
I
outscore
don't
them.
know. Shall I tell
Got
you why?
frustrators.
Because recently,
Mm.
like I mean, the Liverpool game I think is an exception. But even when you thought we were opening the Liverpool game, we only could is 2-1 only. Maybe I'm being a bit far fetched with it. Fair, let's just say I think we're getting our defensive resilience back, even with the players that have been missing. And look, we literally have a back line missing tomorrow. Trevor Chalobah, Christensen, Reece James, and Chilwell all out. But yet people are still have faith, will still consider us defensively solid. But yeah, long story short, I think we can win 2-1. I think we can win 2-1. But
Yeah. It's. I hear you on that. What are you saying, Al?
So I was originally going to go 1-1, because Jez took that. I'll go 2-2. I can't be different. So yeah, I've got to go 2-2.
Fair enough. What I'm going to do on this is I'm going to pick the 1-1. And what? Sorry, Dan. What did you say? 2-1.
2-1.
2-1. So there's 3 different bets there. All fairly good odds as well. So we're going to go with the 2-1. We're going to stick a little £2 on that. We're going to go £1.50 on the 1-1 draw at 7-1. And we're going to also go £1.50 on the 2-1 to Chelsea, which currently comes in at 15-1 with Bet Victor. Remember, all the links are in the description below. If you sign up to your account tonight and bet £5 or more, you get a £30 free bet on top. They're locked in. They're done. That's over the line.
Terry, real quick, on there, can you do goal scorers as well?
Yes, you can.
You can. So you could do a score with goal scorers.
Yeah, it's the full range market is
Yeah.
there. So you can what the great thing about this app is you can build your own bet as well. So you can literally make it how you want. How many goals, who's gonna score, when they're gonna score, card numbers, times of goals, everything. So there's lots available on there if you click on the links and go and have a little bit of a butcher's. Viewers, up next, actually, do you know what I'm gonna do first? We're not gonna do that yet. We're gonna do super chats first. We're gonna do super chats first here. Let's have a little butchers at this. The first one, Terry plus Terry equals Terry. Terry plus Jess equals legends. Is that correct? Okay. What we saying?
No, it's Jess minus Terry equals legend. That was the equation.
All right. We'll move on from that. Terry, how can we lose? It's like taking a test twice and still manage to fail the test. We played Villa a couple of days ago. We must perform. Yeah, we must perform, but it doesn't mean we will. Like, it doesn't mean we will. Fred says, Terry, fan. Okay, we've done that one there. Jess has top of the line commentary, is what SS has got to say. It's a nice compliment for Jessica. Willie just scared to face Tottenham Hotspur on Sunday. That's why they want the game called off. The irony, this is it. Do you know why Twitter's dead? Because you tweet something like that, and the amount of gooners that are already in my comments going, "How dare you say this?" It's like, honestly, I honestly feel like technology's got the ability to do this. There should be a way that Twitter recognizes it as a joke, maybe based on if anybody reacts like it isn't a joke, they should get a 6-month ban from Twitter because they just take the joy out of life.
Yeah, I don't get them at all. I really don't get them. You get them a lot.
I know. Why is the North London derby called off? Just put Arteta in midfield and Edu if needed. Let the AirPod Albert take charge again. Is what's being said. That's what's coming up next.
Not called off yet, guys. It
will be, but let's we're moving on to that next on the show. The North London derby. Will it be postponed? Let's go. So Arsenal Football Club have officially requested for the game to be postponed. This is led to a variety of reactions online, which it was always going to. Liverpool fans straight out with, this is a disgrace, this is wrong. And of course, Liverpool fans were going to come out and kind of say that and push that type of thing essentially because of what Arsenal fans were saying about them a few weeks ago. Play your kids. You know, that's what your academy is for. Where's the transparency? You're scared to play us. So if Arsenal fans are not able to take that banter on the chin, my first response is shame on you. Shame on you. Now, I understand why Arsenal are asking. They have got one midfielder. The only question in this that I don't feel is fair is this is why I've been asking for weeks. I am not, let me just repeat this for any sensitive gooners. I am not annoyed that you are requesting the postponement. You are in your rights to. This is not an attack personally on Arsenal. So if you're in your feelings, honestly, please get help. How can Xhaka being sent off tip the balance in Arsenal's favour and allow them to postpone a game? Xhaka being sent off means if Xhaka didn't get sent off, they had enough numbers. Xhaka being sent off, that's the one reason why I think that the Premier League may not go with it. A suspension tipping you over the edge cannot be allowed to get games. Like, this is what I've been saying all along. This process, and I know what the people are Arsenal fans are putting it out there. It's CV cases, illness, injury, etc. It's all these things. If you get below a certain level, you can't play a game. That's where I've said all along, we need transparency on this, because it feels like Arsenal get a player sent off and it's almost like they're going to be rewarded and allowed to postpone and wait till certain players are back from injury and AFCON and suspension. Like, if Xhaka now gets to play the North London derby, it's crazy to me. I can understand why people are angry, and I don't think it's with Arsenal. It's, again, with the rules, the procedures, and the lack of transparency. But I want to go to Jess first on this. Actually, no, I'm going to go to Alan first on this. Do me a favor when you talk that, Alan. Can you pull your mic away from your clothes because it rubs? It makes a lot of background noise. What's your take on this postponement request?
So I've only caught what was happened before I had to go out. So I know, is it still just Odegaard that's been tested positive for COVID, or is there more players?
Just Odegaard as of now.
Just Odegaard. So for me, with the people going away for AFCON, the suspensions and injuries, those don't add up to getting the game called off. If you had 6 or 7 players out like we did with COVID, the game should be called off all day long, because that's just an unforeseen circumstance. But to have, like Terry said, Xhaka get sent off, and that now enables you to not play when you've got one case, that isn't, that for me, that's not sufficient enough. So, and especially with what Arsenal fans like, who obviously are crying online and all that, the amount of times you said this season, Spurs are dead, you could beat, you've got better youth, better players, our midfield's rubbish, our defence is rubbish, Kane's not performing, you could beat any team that we put out with any team that you put out, all those type of comments. And now it comes to a game where you actually have a couple of problems, and now you're running, like Arsenal fans are running scared, let's get this postponed. It's a little bit embarrassing. And if the game does go ahead, I don't care what team you put out and all that, and you lose to us at home, and you lose after all the comments this season, I will rinse every single one of you on social media and everyone that calls into Terry's show at the weekend, because I'm just going to have a lot of fun doing it, because you've caused this for yourself with the way you reacted with Liverpool and the way you've gone at it all season long with Arsenal back, Arteta's the man, your team, best youngsters in world football, in the Premier League, this and the other, going all through season. I'm just going to enjoy myself at the weekend if this game plays and we beat you.
Jess, how about yourself? I mean, Arteta this afternoon, and I tweeted only 2 hours ago where he come out and said, he says here that to plan with the number we have, we don't have any midfielders becomes really complicated, because whatever we do, it's not natural. The extra motivation to play a derby brings the energy when you don't have it. No excuses. We have to play it. Now so he's kind of said that, and he's requested it. Are you happy that you requested it? Do you think it's right that Arsenal do this? Or have you got the same energy that you had for Liverpool, where it's, no, we should just pick an academy player and get on with the game?
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of complicated, just because the difference between Arsenal and Liverpool is that we didn't have the false positive gate. We didn't go out there and say that we had all these positive COVID cases, and then a couple of days later, 9 of them were false positives, and then we're all fine to play. The difference is we just were straight up and said we had COVID cases, injuries, and absences, and we want this game called off because Xhaka was sent off. So that was the level of transparency that we gave. And that has been pretty much, if you want to be upset at anything, you have to be upset at the FA for setting precedent early that most teams have been able to get the games called off because they had a combination of all of them. Whether you had more COVID cases or not, we all know that this is true, that teams have had absences. I mean, even Wolves had a game called off, and in the Premier League's little tweet, it said, injuries and COVID. So this is a precedent that the FA has sent out, and everybody's going to try to take advantage of it. Now, for me, I think on my timeline, what I've seen, and maybe you've seen something different, but a lot of Arsenal fans would just want to play the game. The main reason why people are laughing about this is because it's just like, look at us trying to get people like do the same thing. But I'm okay with us playing the game because I feel like I don't want fixture congestion. I don't really rate Spurs that much where I think like, I mean, I get that it's like our midfield is decimated, but I don't think it necessarily would give us that much of an advantage to let Son come back and Thomas Partey come back and all of that. And then all of a sudden, like, I'd rather just go ahead and play you guys now. And I think we'll have Tomiyasu back and ESR back. And so for me, I'd rather just go ahead and play the game. But, I don't think the game will get called off. I think inevitably, I think this particular move from Arsenal should make the FA be more stringent on their rules about how many COVID cases it needs to be, because that's the issue. That's the main issue. Like the reason why Arsenal can even ask for the postponement is because they were unclear. And the only time people get upset is when you feel like you have an advantage and the team that you're about to play is asking for the postponement. Very little people are actually trying to call out the FA, so it is what it is. But I think the game will go on. I'm okay with it going on. A lot of the Arsenal fans that I know are okay with it going on. And I don't think anybody's really going to cry about it because I don't think it's going to get called off. It shouldn't get called off. I mean, we should just play whoever we have. We have a big enough squad. But moving forward, I would like other teams to ask for it and it be denied if ours is denied.
I agree with you. I just want to say, sorry, I know there's a panel here, but I agree with you. Sorry, Daniel's backstage again now to come back. I completely agree. Look, I understand why Arsenal were doing it. And as I've said at the top, Arsenal were doing it because they think starting the game with no midfielder does give Tottenham an advantage. And I said this about Klopp when he was talking about breaks and everything else. I don't believe in my heart of hearts, most managers and most clubs push agendas in the media for the greater good of football and everybody's squads and everyone's players. They are always looking for the edge and the advantage for their team. And I get it. And that's what Arsenal are doing now. I just feel like, again, it's a lack of transparency. I've already tweeted. And again, Arsenal fans will take it as you're digging at us. I'm not. Xhaka, for me, cannot and should not be included in the unavailable players. He got himself sent off. For me, if that was a tipping point, this whole system is broken. I don't think players away an AFCON should count. Everyone knew when this competition was for a long time. Build your squad adequately. Don't loan out Maitland-Niles when you know you've got 2 or 3 players leaving for AFCON. If you get right, and I'm using Aston as the example here at the same time. So there's those options there.
Klopp said the same about Liverpool, didn't he? That they couldn't have done anything about Salah and Mane, and it's like, everyone knew where the AFCON was.
You could have bought players in the summer, which is what the fans are asking for. So I do kind of feel like, for me, this is again at the FA and at all the governing bodies. We have no idea what it means. When they first released the protocol, I remember doing the show when they released the protocol, and it was you have to have 13 plus 1 players available, 13 outfield and a goalkeeper available. But they didn't specify at that point that it was you had to read through the rules, that it was injuries and other things. Not just COVID. To have one CV case and to be able to get a game postponed, it's not an Arsenal thing. It doesn't feel right to me. If that's the planning of your club and the suspension of a certain player, that's on your football club. You have to deal with that. For me,
here's the thing, though, Terry. In a way, we kind of need it to be suspended, because if it isn't, then it plays into the Arsenal agenda that the FA are against them. If Arsenal have to go ahead with it and they lose, they've got their excuse again. There you go. The FA.
I don't think it should. I don't think it should be postponed. I think if you don't postpone it, then Arsenal should go back and say, well, we have the required number based on your rules, can you please make it based on how many COVID cases you have? Because I just personally think that's the bigger issue, whether this is
I agree.
Arsenal or Brighton
But
or
that's-
Wolves or
that's what people are
Liverpool or
forgetting.
whoever. Like, they have to not postpone it, and then Arsenal go back and say, well, how many COVID cases do you need to have? And then the rules should change. Like, that's what I'm more concerned about, because if we have to play the game and we lose it because we didn't have a midfield, that's on us. But it's also on other teams as well that have poor planning. The only team I haven't seen whine is Leeds. Like, they're the only team I haven't seen whine. And they had like no players and they had legitimate issues. So I just think the rules are messed up. And like, you know, I don't think it's going to get I don't think it's going to get postponed, you guys. It shouldn't.
And it might not be. And look, as I say, I'm not having a pop here at Arsenal. I'm using their example as a case in point. You know, Jess, I've spoken about this so many times. It's the confusion over the matter. I wasn't even annoyed at Liverpool. It was just a case of, well, how can you have those tests done on a Sunday and you don't find out about the false positives until nearly a week later? It's all confusing. And again, fans take it very personally. But it shouldn't be a personal thing. It's around the integrity of the competition. Equally, go on, mate.
Have you seen the news that's just come out on Aubameyang?
No.
He's not playing because his heart condition's been reported. Just come out, literally. Yeah, AFCON.
Aubameyang or Alphonso Davies?
No, Aubameyang. Well, really? I think Aubameyang, yeah, but it might also have come out on Davies as well, because I've just seen another one. Yeah, Aubameyang, it's literally just come out.
Have you guys noticed how many like heart conditions and people
guys, please, we cannot speak about that. Your YouTube channels get struck off for these conversations. We're
apologies.
not.
Okay.
No, I'm being serious. They do, because as soon as you start going into this round, and have you noticed now in the last year these things are happening? You get struck off. They take it down. So we can't delve into it at all, because YouTube, like, even as people, we can't say that's weird. But yeah, I did read about that, and obviously get well. I hope he
also.
Gets well.
I was even going to mention the fact that we were questioning Liverpool's false positives. They were about to strike us down as well, so we just need to be careful about that one. Because none of these Liverpool guys, you never know what could happen. Like,
very true.
It's not even so much then. It's the algorithms on YouTube. Like when the pandemic first started, if you mentioned the word in a stream, they have an algorithm that picked up on the word, and boom, instant demonetization, and then they would review your thing to see whether it could stay up in case you said it in a piece of misinformation. So yeah, it's just mad. It literally is crazy. So yeah, I know where everyone's coming from with this. Equally, when something happens in stadiums at the minute, lots of people seem to be getting like dizzy spells and whatever. It's almost like let's not speak about it publicly, because I need this my business. That's what it is. It's my business, and Bet Victor won't appreciate
the way you were about to cut off my microphone.
I had to. Do you know what I mean? It's one of them ones there. Like,
it's the only time I see you get mad, Debbie.
Yeah, I just found
but if you lie on his him on the channel,
Miguel found out.
Yeah, he did. He absolutely did. But so, what are you saying about this, mate? Is this like, what do you make of this whole thing about these games being postponed, the lack of transparency? Like, where's your head at with it, bro?
Perfect. Yeah, cheers, bro. Do you know what? I think you and Jess are kind of bang on. I was just sitting there listening to it like it was story time, because I think where you both touch on different things, I think you've hit the nail on the head. I don't really have to say too much. I think what it is, it's just about remaining consistent. And one thing that really bothers me, which I don't know if it bothers you guys, but I feel like with the 3-4 weeks this has been happening now, I just think to cut to the chase, for example, the false positives at Liverpool, and then, you know, a few teams saying they've got injuries incorporated into it as well. If you tested positive for COVID, I don't think clubs are revealing the players that have actually tested positive now. So I might be wrong, but if they have revealed who's testing positive, then I can understand some games getting called off. But I feel like teams are just saying players have got COVID, whatever the word is, of course. I don't want to get you banned. But yeah, the bottom line is I think there needs to be more in the teams just revealing who's got it, and then we move on. Just being truth. Basically, just being true and honest. At the end of the day, being true and honest cuts all the 50p coins that are flying around in the air and just get straight to the notes. And this is what it is. So with Liverpool, with this game tomorrow, or Sunday, what it is, should I say, is that it goes ahead. I think Arsenal have got a good enough squad and a good enough team to still win the game. And at the end of the day, we've seen these storylines and fairy tales in football, Terry. If there's an opportunity for someone, I'm just going to throw a name out there, Jess will know, Amari Hutchinson, who I think is a very young, talented, good footballer. If he comes on for 20 minutes or 15 minutes and he does very well, or he scores a goal. That's the breakthrough some players need. So maybe flip the mentality around and say that these footballers are wanting minutes. Seize the opportunity. Forget keep going on
Also,
about
as well,
seize the opportunity.
bro, you're spot on, and like privileged enough to watch a lot of academy games of most of the Premier League teams. Bro, a lot of teams have players that are ready to play first team football.
Thank you.
Like you just mentioned, Amari Hutchinson. That boy is special. He is so good. Like, and I'm not even trying to blow smoke up his arse or anything. But a really good player who, if we showed, imagine you showed the same amount of time to Amari Hutchinson as we do or we have to guys like Pepe, for example. We know football's a business, and we understand that you have to show time and patience to big money signings. But imagine we can, or people are fortunate enough to show patience to young players. I mean, Arteta still has a job because of Frank Lampard and his allowance of him to play young players, and then they smacked us 3-0. Like that is the one. I'm telling you, that game, Emile Smith-Rowe, Bukayo Saka.
You guys keep Arteta alive a lot because the FA Cup win is a big reason as well why he's here. So thank you.
No, but I'm saying even after the FA Cup win, just remember, you lot went on like a 10-game, like you couldn't win, and then you faced Chelsea.
Then we played you guys.
And beat us, and that was based off of you playing youngsters. So I just think that the academies are there, and I agree with when Nick was saying it. Like,
we just have to suck it up. Like it really is that. It's just, it is what it is. And I think everybody should just suck it up. If you don't have the right amount of COVID cases, you should play. We have enough academies. Like there's enough. And if you cannot field a team, you forfeit. And that's just it. Like the way the rules are being conflated and people are being able to kind of like put together the numbers and jimmy rig it so that it's to their advantage. That is a big issue. And I don't see CV going anywhere anytime soon. So they kind of need to get it together because it's becoming an issue.
It is, but it's again, it always issues with this Premier League because of the lack of transparency. And equally, like again, I'm talking about socials here and what fans are saying because that's all we can really see. But it's like, oh, why are you saying we should play the kids? I'm like, well, I'm saying that because you fans are calling Liverpool out for it. You can't take a joke back on it. So no one can take a joke. Everybody's angry. Someone just sent me a list through it. It's like, you forget Balogun was loaned out this month as an example. Maitland-Niles loaned out. There's a few other names I've mentioned of people that have been loaned out this season. They could recall. It's almost, I want to see the full procedure. So I want to know, example
That's
being,
what I'm saying, Terry.
It's understanding it. I'm not having a pop at Arsenal. I'm not saying Arsenal have done anything wrong. And I've been really strict. When Man United had legitimate cases and we only had 7-8 first-team players available, the rest tested proper positive, I was still questioning in this. And Arsenal fans didn't watch that stream, clearly. Liverpool fans didn't watch that stream. I'm like, but are Man United following the procedures? Are our players isolating and staying in bubbles? Or are they in restaurants and bars and nightclubs and public gyms, mixing with the general public and picking it up? Because these things should all matter. And I mean it in the sense of these players should be at the training ground, at the team hotels, and at the football stadiums. That's it. And maybe a handful of people outside. And I know people say they've got a life and they're humans. Yeah, when you're earning that amount of money, right, there should be procedure. And that procedure should be in place. At the end of the day, they should be, they should be following that, and that should be getting done. And every single case, so if you've got an outbreak at your club, but 6 of your players have been seen in the nightclub last week, you don't get to postpone it. It's on. I'm just using that as an example, and it should be for everybody. And it isn't fair that Arsenal are getting stick or Liverpool are getting stick. It should be the Premier League we focus on. But again, we are one-dimensional as fans, and we always take it personally. Oh, my club. It's not about your club. It's about the bigger goddamn picture. And I said it to Arsenal fans last week. It's going to happen to you, and then you're going to feel attacked by this. Nah, bruv. All crying. Focus on the real damn fucking problem, mugs.
Yeah, that's. I mean, and that's everybody, not just Arsenal fans as well, because every club cries about this stuff. But they just accepted Burnley's application, and they went out, and it's injuries and COVID.
But Jess, this is where I go back to the point of Burnley, Leicester, people maybe don't care as much. I want to watch still a game of football at the end of the day. I've got fantasy football to sort out. But you don't see the names. You don't see the names of how many and so forth. So at the end of the day, I don't feel like it's clear enough. It's clear enough maybe to the club, But at the end of the day, other fans, people that are commuting as well, you've had games called off 2
fully.
hours before people have
Right.
commuted all the way up to games. It's
See,
a bit unacceptable.
So what's interesting here? So Agour has just tweeted me. He just said here, if it goes, it is the Premier League rules state a game can be called off if a club is unable to field 13 outfield players and a goalkeeper for a match due to CV infections, injuries, illness, or other or those isolating. Arsenal have 12 senior outfield players. If Xhaka could play, he'd be 13. My point is this: if Xhaka's a tipping point, then this whole process is a joke. A player getting sent off shouldn't allow the game to be called off because
take a responsibility, Xhaka.
Because at the end of the day, it's almost like Arsenal are then being partly rewarded. You're gonna when this game gets replayed, it could be in 6 weeks when all your players are back, and it means bad planning. Loaning out 2 or 3 players that you maybe shouldn't have done. Xhaka being sent, like the idea of a player being sent off is that it's meant to weaken your team in the next game. It's why red cards exist. Again, I look at this and it will be very unfair if Xhaka's a tipping point, to be fair. And that's not a dig at Arsenal. It's those rules. And you can't have rules that give one team an advantage over another. The rules are meant to be there to make it even. And these rules stink like shit. Actually,
you know what? Until this season, I've never known a rule to be about 12 or 13. And for me, I thought it was actually brought in because of COVID. And if you had those amount of people that put you below that number, that was why it got cancelled. I've never known it before to do with injuries or suspensions.
You know what? I can see it. Sorry to interject again. I can see a situation if they don't rewrite this rule properly. They're going to end up setting precedents here in the sense of if they remove the CV element from it in 2 years' time, when maybe the world feels like it's more under control, but there's still a 13 rule thing. Look, we've got 4 best players missing. All it takes is the club doctor to say these 7 other players are now injured. We can't play a game. You're going to set a very dangerous precedent. You really could, and that's what worries me. Like
that's why this game needs to be the one, because I just feel like this one has to be it. Like it has to be it, because if they go through with this one, it's finished. And so this has to be the one where they say, you know what? We know why Arsenal is doing this. It's because of Granit Xhaka. And then they need to rewrite the rules to only include the numbers for CV. And that is it. If they don't do it, it just is what it is. And like, I understand why Spurs fans would be irritated and Liverpool fans, they should be. But we should all be more like upset about the rules, because it's going to be to our advantage and our disadvantage so much in the next couple of who knows how long months.
I agree. And I said that to Liverpool fans during all of this. I said, look, you can defend yourself and say it's right and it's fair. But if you were about to play, let's just keep it to English clubs. You're about to play Chelsea in the semi-final of the Champions League. Your team is purring. You're in good form. Chelsea have got the light on their feet. They've got 2 or 3 injuries. Do you know what I mean? They've got 2 or 3 injuries. They've got a few CV cases, and they're just on the threshold. And then in the quarterfinal game, 2 Chelsea players get suspended. One gets another yellow card. The other one gets sent off, but they make it through the tie. Now they fall under the threshold, so the game gets postponed for 2 weeks to allow them to get their players back. That wouldn't be fit. Like, that's my point. It's great when it benefits you. And I'm one of these people in life. I don't like bad rules just because they benefit me in the short term. I feel like it's slippery slope time. And at some stage, it's going to hinder you as well. And it's wrong for me. And again, not Arsenal. This is again completely and utterly on these fools that run that run our football in this country. It really is.
Like I said, Jerry, it could be a positive though. If a youngster like Hutchinson comes on and scores, then it could be everyone's talking on Sunday about, oh my God, he's broken through, and that's the start of a new player. So
and listen, they're only playing Tottenham.
How dare you, Terry?
I mean, if nothing else changes, the only real major person out really is Granit Xhaka. Odegaard is also one, but we will have Smith Rowe, so we'll have a 10. The team that people are putting out, when you look at it, is as strong as you can possibly be without Thomas Partey and Xhaka, and it just is what it is. Like, we should still be able to play. Like, for me, we should still play. Like,
elite mentality, Jess. Elite mentality.
Yes, it's because also though, the reason why they've submitted it is because now Callum Chambers, Saka, and Tierney all picked up knocks yesterday. Apparently, do you know what I mean?
Again, that's where fans get frustrated.
Picking
up knocks.
the right amount of knocks to allow you not to have the players available. Come on, man.
But it's just like having all these false positives. Like
Exactly.
everybody is fudging it. Like, and I don't like that Arsenal are doing it, but they've created a situation where Arsenal feel entitled to do this. And so, like, it stinks, but it stinks everywhere, you know, and we have the right amount of knocks and a COVID case here and a couple of absences, and we're asking for postponement. You know, it's whack.
Yeah, it's mad.
I also don't want this game pushed further back either, because I don't like the congestion either.
Someone tweeted me here when I tweeted out saying, surely Xhaka being sent off cannot support Arsenal's claim for postponement. And an Arsenal fans responded with, but you're absolutely taking the piss. Of course it should. He's not available and it should definitely count. It's like,
it's his fault.
It's almost, that's what's mad about it. Do you know what I mean?
You know what?
Honestly, it is.
What I was trying to say before.
Anyway, go on, mate.
What I was trying to say before, and this goes exactly with that, is when you support a football club, right? You don't get to pick what elements of the club you support, right? You support the football club, right? So you can't. I'm so sick of excuses. Like when someone say, "Oh, sorry, lads, this isn't." I'm not actually aiming at Man United here as well. But when people talk about the board, get frustrated. But that's the board's fault, right? If the board don't buy the right players or don't invest, so Liverpool, this is that's the board's fault, right? So again, with Arsenal, it's the player's fault. You can't go, "Oh no," because he's sent off. And again, if you have to play younger players and your younger players maybe aren't to a level, to a certain extent, if other teams also have to play younger players, it is what it is. That's because your club has better younger players. That is as simple as that. I think the only thing should be COVID cases, and that is it. All this other stuff is just loopholes. And like you said, we're making loopholes that everyone will manipulate.
Yeah, absolutely. In terms of the game, because it may go ahead. We don't know. It may go ahead. How are you feeling about it, Alan? Do you feel confident in beating them?
So,
whatever you say it with chest.
So, I'm always an honest fan. So we are playing very poorly against big teams, but I don't see Arsenal as a big team. That's my honest opinion. I think they're a team that were great back in my early years, but they're fallen down, and I think they're around the level where they are actually with us and Man United in this moment in time. So that's why I want to play them, because I believe they'll come to us. Because all the time I hear with Arsenal fans, we come to you, we beat you. This ever your ground. You haven't beaten us there since 2015 in the league. You know, you come and you end up losing. Even under Mourinho when we were bad, oh, we're going to come there and do you. You ended up losing to us and finishing behind us. So Arsenal have just as frail mentality, and especially with a young team, you can see that happening. Yeah, they were resolute, but I think that booking, that sending off for Xhaka helped you, because you're able to sit back and just absorb, especially from a toothless Liverpool. I think if it had stayed 11-11 and you were pushing forward, I think they would have caught you and you would have lost that game. But I see frailties in that Arsenal team, like because of their age, as well as I see frailties in that Tottenham team. I think we've got a point to prove after that poor performance under Nuno at your ground. I believe Conte will not allow that to happen this time round. And I see us beating you 2-1. That's my honest opinion. I see you coming to us and us beating you 2-1.
Jess was beaming for that whole. Jess was beaming, like was the whole time.
He always comes with
smiling.
this. He comes up with this stuff like, no. I hear why you feel that way, and no, we don't actually do well at your place. Like, you know, we don't. We usually do well at home and mess it up away from home. So that's fair enough. You would know a lot about parking the bus and sitting back and absorbing pressure, because that's what you guys do all the time. So good for you. But no, I think Arsenal, you know, it's going to be an even match, but I still think we'll have the edge. Like, I just feel like we'll have the edge. I don't think Spurs have changed much since at all. Like,
I agree.
I don't know. I know that it's like they've had good results, but like, and the same thing was said about us when we were having good results, but we weren't playing well. At some point, we started to play well. I would expect you guys to start actually playing well at some point. And you guys have really good experienced players up top, and that's about it. Like, I don't really think the players that are in behind there are that great. That being said, we definitely have a weakness in the middle of the pitch because we don't have a midfielder available. So that's definitely going to be a evening out factor. But I still back Arsenal to beat you guys, because if we press you, and we're decent at pressing now, we're definitely not Man City levels pressing, but if anybody presses you guys even a little bit, you see you don't have technicians in your on the pitch for you. And if Saka's in any sort of form, if Martinelli can go again, I just think we'll nick it. It'll be close. Unless the referee helps you guys, I think we're going to beat you.
Oh, wow.
Unless
Really?
the referee helps you, I think we're going to win. So, yeah.
Got your tinfoil hat there, Jess? Got your tinfoil hat?
Oh, yeah. I always have my tinfoil hat, of course.
Come on. What an excuse. What an excuse.
You couldn't even say that Kane. You couldn't even say that Kane deserved to be sent off. You were going all about round John's house, trying to make it up and stuff. He deserved to get sent off. And you were, I can see how it would be looked at.
I know I said that, but I also said when I came on the stream later and I said I looked at it again and all that, I then also said, okay, seeing it a second time, because I hadn't seen it a second time. Seeing it a second time, yes, it was a red card. So upon seeing it again, I changed my mind because I don't have agendas.
Good. I'm glad you finally admitted that the referee helped you in that match. And if he helps you again, then maybe. But I think we have a chance. And the thing about absorbing pressure, and if we get into a point where you guys are trying to push us back, one thing that you guys are not good at is breaking down a low block. And we are low block FC when we need to be. we really are. So I think we'll win it. I think we'll nick it. I think it'll be 2-1 Arsenal for sure. And a Harry Kane penalty for sure, because they always give you one of those, don't they? So there you go.
It's an interesting one. So I've got a special. The Bet Victor put a Football Terrace special on for us today, which is Arsenal to win over 3.5 goals and over 4.5 cards. Now, if you built that yourself, they would give you...
For Arsenal only?
1 second. Let me just...
Wait, what's going on?
So that's over in total. So that's in the game. In the game. But Arsenal to win, the game to have more than 3.5 goals and over 4.5 cards. If you built that bet yourself, it would be 19-1. But because of the Football Terrace relationship with Bet Victor, you can get that for 25-1. That's my prediction for this game if it goes ahead. Now, of course, if the game doesn't go ahead, there'll be a refund. But I'm sticking £10 on that. £260 return. I am so confident of Arsenal doing this, even with their midfield problems. They had the same midfield problems yesterday and outperformed Liverpool at Anfield.
But didn't score.
1 sec, mate. The link is in the description below. If you want to put this bet on with our sponsors today, Bet Victor, I've placed my bet. That is done. That is dusted. You might want to wait. You might want to save the link until, the game's going ahead. That may be your preference. And, of course, feel free to do that. But they did play well yesterday against Liverpool. And I think it shows. And Liverpool are much better than Tottenham. So I'm using that as logic there. The bias terrace. Yeah, the Man United.
I'm surprised, man.
The Man United fan back in Arsenal, who are much bigger rivals to me than Liverpool, than Tottenham, is me being biased. Nice troll. Again, if you're going to troll, hang on a second here. Sorry, guys. If you're going to troll, please work it and make it better. If you're going to come on here and give me stick, I can send you pens. I can send you paper. What do you need? That is the worst trolling I have ever had on the Football Terrace. It is awful. It didn't even hit. Come on. If you're going to do it, at least get me a little rattle, get my pal Whiteface a little bit beetroot red. You know what I'm saying? Come on, my guy. Terrible. Absolutely awful. And saying I'm triggered when I'm as calm as cucumber. I know you're sitting there in mum's basement screaming right now with one hand covered in orange stuff from the Wotsits that you're eating and the other hand's a little bit sore. That's all I'm saying. So just relax yourself, bro. Relax it.
Coming like the chicken man of Toy Story.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I see in my head. Him. Do you know what I mean? The chicken guy. Yeah, exactly.
Terry, I'm going to have to challenge you quickly because I know obviously you ask us questions. I'm going to do a Daniel and ask you a question. So you said, Arsenal to win over 3.5 goals. So if you're looking at it mathematically, that's Arsenal to either win probably 3-1, 4-0, 4-2, and there's going to be a lot of goals in the game. Now, Antonio Conte, Spurs, I don't really like them going forward. But defensively, they've been okay. Conceded 2 against Liverpool. I understand that's Liverpool. Conceded 1 against West Ham. Palace clean sheet. Southampton 1. And then Watford kept a clean sheet and lost to Chelsea. How do you see Spurs all of a sudden shipping a lot of goals to this Arsenal side to back your bet? Just intrigued.
Because it goes against the script and the form because it's a derby. It's just a feeling. It's just one of those games where I feel like, a bit like the last North London derby, nobody expected that energy and that kind of frenetic start to the game. When we were in the studio for that game, and everybody was predicting 1-0s, 2-1s, tight, hard games, because both managers were looked at as almost pragmatic. I think Arsenal, I don't know which team will do. I think the game's going to start very quick. I expect it to be like the Tottenham Liverpool game. Actually, I think they're gonna go for it. I think it's going to be open, and I just see, because both teams have got the deficiencies. And if it goes ahead with no midfield for Arsenal, I just see there been a number of goals. If I do a score prediction, I'm going to go with 3-2 to Arsenal is what I'm going to go with. But I think Arsenal might even take a 2-0, 3-1 level lead to that sort of point, and there'll be a late consolation. Is what I think.
Okay, no, fair. Cheers for letting me ask you, because that's interesting.
No, I like always ask away. What's this here? I just witnessed a third degree burn in 4K. Not gonna lie.
Wait, okay, your name is Alan, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm getting that right. Do you think you guys are playing better? Do you think you've seen a change? Like, be real for like 5 seconds. Seriously.
So we're not playing level football like Man City or Liverpool now. There is a massive improvement in that Tottenham team compared to under Nuno. No effort, lethargic, no midfield. When we came to you, I mean, Arsenal played really well that day. But if you watched the game and actually took that, we played Ndombele and Dele Alli, who were allowed to be well up ahead, like well ahead of the ball. And it was only Højbjerg holding, and there was no one in the middle. And all we were doing, lumping long balls up. What Nuno done that day was just ridiculous. There was no game plan. Well, actually, the game plan, and it was just shocking. And you were able just to walk through us. You should have beaten us by more than 3-1. Looking back at the game, I reckon you could have beaten us 5 or 6-1 that day. That's how bad we were. And we were able, actually, in the second half, we got a lot better, and we could have come at like 3-2 or maybe even got a late draw.
I guess not really between like in the North London derbies and stuff. I mean, from Mourinho.
So I was coming to that. I was coming to that.
Yeah.
So under Conte, there's a lot more effort, there's a lot more running, there's a lot more closing down, pressing, right? Against bigger teams like Chelsea in a thing, we're going to come on top because they are far superior to us. I don't deny that. They are more powerful than us. They've got better midfield than us. You know, pretty much better all over the park. So in those kind of games, we were going to look bad. But in the other teams, like earlier on against Nuno, even the teams that we beat 1-0, they were outplaying us. They were like Wolves. We were lucky we should have lost that game to Wolves, and get home to Watford 1-0. We should have been drawing that game. We just got lucky that they didn't take any of their chances. That's how bad we were under Nuno. Under Conte, we're a lot more steady. So people say, "Oh, Spurs get back," and all that. I think Wolves, Liverpool, and Chelsea have conceded least goal, or Man City have conceded less goals. We've even conceded less than Arsenal this season. So we haven't conceded as many goals under Conte as we have under Nuno to the start of the season. So people just go, because obviously we're still very disjointed because we've got, like, some of our players are really bad and should be out of that team. People just see that and go, "Oh, Spurs are really bad," but there's a massive improvement on the Conte. But people just overlook it.
I think massive. You might be.
No, I agree.
That's how bad we were under Nuno. So,
but here's the thing:
under how you guys were under Jose Mourinho, we all know that you guys down tools on Nuno. Like, we know that, so you can kind of just scrap that. But between Jose Mourinho and Conte, I don't see much of a difference at all.
Do you know what?
Like, to be honest, not with the way that you guys are playing, not really with the effort. I mean, they booed Ndombele and Dele Alli, like, in one of the last games that you guys played. Like, what do you mean? Like, the effort has changed. Like, you know what I mean?
So we were 20th in running this season. We're now first because that's the level of improvement. You're nitpicking 1 or 2 players that have got poor mentality and don't work for the team anyway, who are looking to be sold, to be moved out the door. Other people who, I mean, even Kane's running more than I've ever seen Kane run in the last 3 or 4 seasons on the pitch. You've got people like Højbjerg, Skip, that put all the effort in, Lucas Moura. You've got everyone else doing it. Don't nitpick 1 or 2 that have that mentality, who play that poor and don't put as much effort in as the other people in the team, because, you know, that's what it's easy to nitpick 1 or 2 players in any team that don't do it, but they're looking to be gone anyway.
But here's
you guys go ahead, because now it looks like I'm like interrogating. I'm not. So, I am, but I'm not.
You're doing a very bad job of it.
I'm with Jess though. I mean, I agree with you, Alan. I think you've improved, right? I do think you've improved, but when I'm seeing that Tottenham is still the favourites to get top 4, that's confusing me, because although Tottenham have improved, I don't think they've improved to a point where they're better than how Arsenal are currently playing. I don't think I mean, Man United at the moment, I until probably about 5-6 games ago, I thought United would click, but maybe not. But at the moment, I don't feel. Although yes, they're better. They're not much better, and I don't think they're better than Arsenal at the moment. Like,
you make the exact point that I was just about to make. Yes, fair enough. The growth or the improvement incremental hasn't been to what everyone thought it should be. The same with Man United, because even though Man United haven't been playing the way they wanted to, they still have a good wins record since It's been there. But we can all see that it's not the improvement that we thought we would see. Now, in my opinion, look, I think, and you're gonna disagree with me, but I'm just gonna tell you how it is. It's because Conte is a goated manager. You're willing to hear it more, because if another guy came in, if Eddie Howe was in charge of you and went on the same run that Conte has been on so far, and then suddenly bows out to Chelsea, first leg was kind of poor, and the second leg kind of gave it away in terms of the lineup that was put out. It would have been there would have been hysteria. There have been a few criticisms of the lineup here and there on Twitter. I have seen some Tottenham fans say you should have started a stronger team, but you're willing to see it out because it's Conte. He hasn't got the money yet. You know his pedigree, and fair enough. You should trust him because he's a world-class manager. Yeah. Then again, I think you should also be willing to admit that it's been
hasn't really been.
Again, we haven't been setting the world like Man City, like your Chelsea playing like your Liverpool. I've never said that. But the intensity is there, which was lacking under Nuno, not there. The running, the effort. Yes. And we've been better in all those aspects which we were lacking.
I will say Tottenham, right? I feel like Tottenham in the cup games since Conte's been there, because I think he played one conference game, League Cup game, FA Cup games, have all been really bad. In the league, I've been quite impressed with them. It's almost it's interesting how and the irony in that is Conte is such a league manager. It's, like Rafa Benitez from when he came to England and onwards, he just become like a cup manager. He was a great cup manager. I almost feel like Antonio Conte is brilliant in the league and not as good in the cup. He has won cups, of course, but it's almost he's better at that longer game kind of mentality and strategy. Look back at some of their results, and Watford was a narrow win, but they dominated the game. They smashed Crystal Palace as an example. They were brilliant against Tottenham.
Skipped over the Southampton game.
I'm going to get to that in a minute. I'm going to finish on that one, if you would be so kind, please, Karen.
I'm co-hosting, am I not?
Thank you. Yeah, you are. You are, Karen, and I'm co-hosting back, lead hosting back here. And the Southampton game, that was the one where they performed badly, but they still got a result. They still got a positive result for a bad performance. So I look at Tottenham as they're almost like a Jekyll and Hyde when they play in the cup games, and generally that's when they rotate and some of these bad eggs or players that are not good enough come in. The difference is about this weekend as well. I'm still backing an Arsenal win. Do you know the reason I was backing an Arsenal win as well? And I didn't answer this entire question. And this is why I want this game to go ahead, because I feel it plays into one of my football theories. And I want some, not one result makes it. I don't want one piece of confirmation bias, but I've seen this a lot. I think if tomorrow morning the Premier League say no, you would have had enough fit players, but Xhaka's red card doesn't count, therefore you play. I think Spurs, the club, the fans are going to inside grow with a huge level of expectation. They're going to win and confidence because they've got no midfield. And I think that will be overconfidence, and Arsenal will surprise them and beat them. It's almost the psychology of this. Guess why I want it to go ahead, outside of everything else, the psychology of the game, if Arsenal have no midfield, is going to be... And by the way, Lokonga will ball out as well if he plays.
Lokonga, my gosh. Oh, okay, so one more thing, though. Do you think Levy's actually going to buy the players? We're kind of far into the transfer window, and I don't see anybody showing up at the toilet bowl.
Yeah, so that's cute. It's still better than your stadium.
It definitely is not.
Yes, it is. It is.
No, it's not. It's hard. It's like a cold. Well, it's good for concerts and boxing and stuff. Definitely not for football.
This is coming from
football there. Let's keep
this is coming from me as well. But for modern stadium, the Emirates is actually awful. Just saying.
So you should remove her off of that just for a bit for that comment. Anyway, So with
You
Daniel
guys can
Levy,
remove me for that. That's fine.
What's the trophy? What's the trophy cabinet saying at Tottenham's ground?
Dusty. That's what it's
You
saying.
know what? I heard a rumor. They didn't even build a room. They didn't build one. They just left that out. They made an extra restaurant. An extra restaurant instead of a
Right.
trophy room.
Yes. So I
Yeah, but
have
what
said
about
about
the
Daniel
transfers?
Levy. I'm one of the massive critics of Daniel Levy, Enoch, and all that. To own us for 20 years, and we have one trophy is not good enough. Daniel Levy, somehow he got Conte there. He must have promised him there. This is basically for him either to put up or shut up. You know, I see no players coming in, but I see like a bit of building development happen around Tottenham Hotspur area. And that's just ridiculous. Football is about winning and trophies and investing in the team. And all it seems to do is we invest off the pitch.
Yeah, but you're going to have one of the best cinemas in the world.
Shut up, Terry. Just shut up.
So what
No.
you're going to do is when you beat like Chelsea or Arsenal, it'll be a great place for you Tottenham fans to go and watch the release of the DVD.
Oh, Terry's got his Arsenal shirt on today. Look at him. He's proper back in Arsenal. No, so yeah, for me, I said it's Daniel Levy. We've got Conte. This will expose Daniel Levy as the fraud that he is as a chairman. I can't even believe. I think in 2017, 2018, he won Chairman of the Year. That's embarrassing for everyone else's chairman, how that even happened. But yeah, if he doesn't back, then, well, I want him gone anyway. But if he fouls Conte, a world-class manager who is, you know, at his peak, if he fouls him after failing Jose Mourinho as well and not getting Pochettino over the line because, why he didn't get Pochettino over the line when we needed one or two to be able to push us on to maybe a cup, you know, it just goes to prove that he's a failure as a chairman. And like Joe Lewis, who's never put his hand in his pocket for this club, you know, all of them can just go as far as I'm concerned. I've never been a fan of them or haven't been a fan of them for the last 6-7 years.
There we go. Why is man getting cooked on a Friday? It's peak, bro.
That's all right. I'll be cooking on Sunday. Don't worry about that.
Well,
if it goes ahead,
we'll see. If we do see you, we'll see you in the studio. Who's the Arsenal fan I got coming in? I can't remember now.
Your friend Gav.
Oh
Is it
yes,
Gav?
man like Gav and Alan will be in the
Gav.
studio
Gav.
on Sunday. If anyone else wants to join us as well, the more the merrier. It's an open invitation, really. Just have a test done before you come because I don't want to get ill again. But listen, thank you all very much for tuning in. A big shout out to our title sponsors today, Bet Victor. Announcement on that coming very, very soon, I think, in terms of our partnership with them. Make sure you get their app downloaded now. It's free to do. It's in the description below. Click on any of them links and just sign up through there. Ty, Daps, Daniel, Alan, thank you all very much for coming on and making the show brilliant tonight. Jess, thank you for co-hosting with me. I really appreciate the support. Everyone who's tuned in, you know how much I appreciate you. We're back tomorrow to cover both the Chelsea and Man City game, Man United, Aston Villa as well. Until then, take care. Goodbye.